You ever seen someone get torn to shreds, piece by piece, while the world just watches? No rescue, no warning, no "are you okay?" Just silence. You kept giving, didn't you? You gave them time, energy, loyalty, your freaking soul, and they turned around and acted like you were never even there. Funny how people beg for your light, but curse you when you stop shining. You kept showing up for them, thinking they'd do the same when your world burned. But no, they were holding the damn matches. And now you're in ruins, left with the ashes of the person you used to be. But here's the joke that nobody sees coming. God isn't finished with you, not even close, because the very same people who watched you fall, they're gonna watch something else now. They're gonna watch you rise. Not quietly, not timidly. You're gonna rise like thunder, and it'll shake their little fantasy world apart. You see, they thought breaking you meant erasing you. That's where they messed up. Pain doesn't delete real ones. It just rebuilds them different. You don't go back to who you were. No, that version of you died in the fire. God's about to raise you from that wreckage. Not patched up, but transformed. Stronger, colder, sharper. Not bitter, just done explaining. Done begging. Done shrinking yourself to fit in rooms you were meant to own. They laughed at you when you were on your knees. They mocked your silence like it meant defeat. But silence ain't weakness, kid. It's the sound of God working. It's the sound of something terrifying building in the shadows. See, real transformation don't happen in applause. It happens in isolation, in pain, in betrayal. That's where warriors are born. And you're not broken. You're in construction. You think God ain't watching all this? You think he didn't hear those conversations behind your back? You think he didn't see who switched up when the pressure came? Don't play yourself. He saw every smirk when they thought you'd never come back. He heard every lie they told to paint you as the villain in their coward little stories. And you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna rebuild you in front of their damn faces. He's not hiding the comeback. He's preparing the stage. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Let that sink in. This ain't karma. It's correction. It's redirection. God's about to make sure they choke on every word they spoke when you were at your lowest. You kept quiet, didn't you? Didn't defend yourself, didn't fight their rumors. You just kept moving, kept surviving, and it hurt like hell. But that silence was divine. That silence was sacred. That silence gave God space to work. Because when you fight your own battles, you might win. But when you let him fight for you, it's a massacre. You wanted revenge. I get it. But sometimes, the best revenge is watching God handle what you couldn't. Sometimes, the people who tried to bury you will water the soil you rise from. The same hands that threw dirt on your name, they're about to witness what happens when God decides it's time. And it's time, not because they're sorry, Not because you need to prove something, but because you've suffered long enough. Don't think you're weak because you cried. Don't think you lost because you broke. Even lions bleed. Even monsters fall. But you kept crawling when your legs gave out. You kept loving when your heart was empty. You kept hoping when your soul was tired. That's not weakness. That's power they'll never understand. They were counting on you to become like them, cold, bitter, fake. But you didn't. You stayed real. You stayed kind. And now, kindness is your weapon. Silence is your weapon. And time is going to humiliate every name that doubted you. They won't even see it coming. One day, they'll be scrolling through life and boom, there you are, thriving, glowing, unbothered, unreachable. And they'll remember every time they could have chosen you but didn't. Every message they ignored. Every tear they didn't care about. And that's when it hits them. They didn't lose a follower. They lost a fucking gift. You want to know the secret? God don't rebuild what was. He creates what was missing. He replaces what you thought you needed with something you never imagined. That heartbreak. It wasn't to punish you. It was to expose them. That silence. It wasn't emptiness. It was preparation. And that pain was permission. Permission to outgrow the people who only clapped when you were small enough to control. You weren't too much. You were too real, too true, too dangerous to their comfort zone. And now you're becoming everything they said you'd never be. God's not just gonna lift you. He's gonna display you in broad daylight, in front of everyone who thought you'd stay buried. They'll watch, and they won't be able to touch you, because you're not coming back to prove anything. You're coming back because you were never meant to stay down. They broke you? Nah. They upgraded you. Congratulations. You just survived the betrayal that was meant to destroy you. Now watch what God does next. They thought the silence meant you had nothing left. They didn't realize silence is just the calm before the explosion. You weren't defeated. You were downloading a whole new version of yourself. One that doesn't beg to be understood. Doesn't chase people for crumbs of love. Doesn't lower their voice just to make others feel tall. Nah, that version is gone. What's being rebuilt now? It's colder, smarter, hungrier. See, once you taste betrayal from people you loved the most, it rewires you. You stop believing in words and start watching actions. You stop looking for apologies and start building boundaries. That's the true revenge. Not screaming, not burning everything down, but becoming untouchable, emotionally bulletproof. And that ain't overnight. That's forged through lonely nights, silent mornings, and tears nobody sees. That's built when you look in the mirror and realize the only person who's been showing up every single time is you. They had their fun, right? Played their little games, gossiped, disappeared, acted like you were replaceable, like you were just another name they could forget when the thrill wore off. But what they didn't expect was the comeback. Not a loud one, not a desperate one, a silent storm. See, the best revenge isn't attention, it's absence. It's becoming so far out of reach that even if they wanted to fix it, they can't. Not because you hate them, but because you've outgrown them. That's the kind of pain they can't recover from. Not guilt, regret. The kind of regret that wakes them up at night wondering how they lost someone who would have given them the world. While they were out chasing distractions. The kind of regret that doesn't go away because it's not about what happened. It's about what they let happen. And by the time they realize it, you're already too far gone. That's the poetry of God's justice. Not a sword, just a mirror. You ever notice how they don't clap when you heal? They only noticed you when you were bleeding. Some people only love you when you're broken enough to be controlled. But the moment you start rising, the moment you find peace that doesn't include them, they get nervous. That's why God doesn't just heal you in silence. He exposes them in the process. Every fake smile, every lie, every little manipulation they use to keep you in their orbit, it all starts to crack when you finally stop reacting. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop trying to prove your worth to people who were blind by choice. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Sometimes God lets people hurt you, not to break you, but to wake you up. Because if they didn't hurt you, you would have stayed. You would have kept loving people who were draining you dry. So he let the betrayal come. He let them laugh. He let them walk, not to destroy you, but to free you. You're walking proof that pain doesn't end people. It evolves them. You're not dead. You're different. And that's even scarier, because now you're not chasing. You're attracting. You're not hoping. They'll change. You're changing the game. Your standards are higher. Your patience is shorter. Your energy is sacred now. And those who can't match that frequency, let them go. Watch how quiet your life gets when you stop watering dead gardens. That's the rebuild. Not just success. Sanity, not just revenge, freedom, not just moving on, leveling up. And trust me, God ain't rebuilding you to go back to the same place you got hurt. He's rebuilding you to take you where they could never follow, where they're not invited, where their name don't hold weight, where their absence feels like peace, not punishment. They thought they humbled you by leaving. They thought they crushed you by choosing someone else. They thought the silence would finish you off. But that's where they underestimated the soul of a real one. You can't kill someone who's been through hell and came out with purpose. You can't bury someone who's learned to grow through concrete. You're not soft anymore. You're steel. Forged in isolation, sharpened by betrayal, polished by time. You don't need validation. You are the validation. You're the one that got away. You're the one they'll remember when the party's over and the silence hits. And trust me, it will hit. And when it does, you won't even feel like gloating. You'll be too far gone, too focused, too at peace to care about applause or revenge, because now you understand. God wasn't trying to teach them a lesson. He was trying to teach you that sometimes rejection is protection, that being left behind isn't failure, it's divine intervention, that the people you thought you couldn't live without, you're better off without. And that pain that almost killed you, it was the foundation, not for your downfall, but for your empire. You ever think about how the strongest ones ain't loud? They don't scream for attention. They don't post every wound. They don't beg to be seen. Nah, they walk through hell with a straight face because they know real strength is quiet. It's built in the shadows. It's built in the nights when nobody's texting, when nobody checks on you, when you sit in your own thoughts and the silence is louder than any scream. That's where you get built. That's where you stop being a victim and start becoming a weapon, but not just any weapon, a weapon God designed, specifically for what's coming. That's the scariest part. They thought breaking you would end the story, but God was just getting started. They thought silence meant death, but silence just meant strategy. What's about to hit them ain't noise. It's the sound of purpose landing. And trust me, purpose is louder than pain when it arrives. People don't realize what they lost until the energy disappears, until that light they fed off is gone, until the love they toyed with stops showing up. Then suddenly, they remember. They remember the way you understood what they didn't even say, the way you showed up even when you were exhausted, the way you forgave them before they even apologized, and it hits them like a freight train. They didn't lose someone who needed them. They lost someone who chose them. There's a big difference. You never begged, you offered. You never chased, you gave. You weren't desperate, you were real. And that's what haunts them. That's what lingers when the crowd disappears and they're left with the silence of their choices. Let them pretend. Let them act like you were just another chapter, but deep down, you were the whole damn book. You were the peace in their chaos, the calm in their storm, the stability in their mess. And they threw that away because they thought loyalty was weakness, because they thought kindness was soft. They didn't see the strength it takes to keep giving when you're empty, to keep hoping when you've been let down, to keep loving when all you've known is betrayal. That ain't weakness. That's power they could never understand. But now they'll feel it. Not because you're punishing them, but because you finally stopped showing up. And your absence is about to echo louder than any words you ever said. You know why God lets people leave without closure? Because if you heard what they really thought, it would break you even more. He protected you from the full truth. because you would have stayed trying to fix people who were committed to misunderstanding you. He let them go, not because you didn't love them enough, but because they didn't love you right. And he's not in the business of wasting your purpose on people who aren't qualified for the future. He's building. So he removed them, not to hurt you, but to clear the path. Because what's coming? It's too big for small minds. It's too heavy for weak hands. It's too sacred for people who never valued you in the first place. And the worst part for them? Watching you become everything they tried to convince you you'd never be. They thought you needed them to shine, that without their approval, their attention, their presence, you'd shrink. But all they did was remove the distractions. All they did was get out of the way. And now you can see clearly. Now you can breathe. Now you can build, not out of spite, out of survival, out of purpose, out of obedience to something higher than them. You see, when God rebuilds you, He doesn't just replace what was broken. He upgrades it. You're not healing to return to who you were. You're healing into someone they'll never have access to again. Not because you're bitter, but because you learned. And learning changes everything. So let them talk. Let them mock. Let them act like they ain't watching. But trust me, they're watching, silently, regretfully, desperately. But by the time they realize what they did, you won't be reachable. You'll be rebuilt, stronger, sharper, calmer, more focused. And that's when they'll understand. God didn't just rebuild you for yourself. He rebuilt you in front of the ones who broke you. Because divine justice isn't just about restoration. It's about revelation. It's about showing everyone who tried to bury you that you were a seed, not a grave. That the silence they laughed at was the very soil God needed to grow something unstoppable. You know what makes this comeback dangerous? It's not just that you survived, it's how you survived. Quietly, patiently. While they were running their mouths, you were rebuilding in silence. While they were laughing, you were learning. While they were busy choosing temporary people over you, you were building permanent character. And now you walk different. You don't beg, you observe. You don't chase, you attract. You don't prove, you exist. And that existence, it's heavy, because it carries the weight of everything you've been through. Every breakdown, every betrayal, every night you cried in silence because you had no one to turn to. And all of that, it didn't weaken you, it armed you. That's what they never saw coming. They thought they were subtracting from you. But all they did was multiply your depth. See, when God rebuilds you, He doesn't copy and paste the old version. He destroys it, shatters it, because He knows you're worth more than recycled strength. So He gives you a new mind, a new lens, a new fire. And this fire, it's not born out of ego or revenge. It's born out of truth. The truth that not everyone deserves access. The truth that loyalty to the wrong people is self-betrayal. The truth that not all love is love. Some of it is control in disguise. And when you learn that, something dangerous happens. You stop craving what once destroyed you. You stop needing their attention, their validation, their maybe one day. Because now, you've seen what you can survive without them. And you realize you were never the weak one. You were just the honest one in a room full of actors. They painted you as the villain because you stopped bleeding for people who wouldn't even offer a bandage. They called you cold when you stopped overgiving. They called you selfish when you finally put yourself first. But let them talk. Let them choke on the narrative they created. Because deep down, they know the truth. They had access to someone real, and they ruined it. They had loyalty most people would kill for, and they disrespected it. They had a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. And now? Now they get to live with that loss. Not as a punishment from you, but as a lesson from life. You've changed. Not because you wanted to, but because you had to. Survival will do that. Rebuilding will do that. You stopped answering calls that used to set your soul on fire because now you know not everything that feels good is good for you. You stopped explaining your silence because now you understand. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your healing. You stopped defending your worth because now you know real ones don't need convincing. You used to be afraid of being alone. Now you're afraid of being surrounded by people who don't value peace. That's growth. That's strength. That's dangerous to those who only felt powerful when you were broken. Let them reminisce. Let them scroll through memories, trying to remember how you used to sound when you cared. Let them replay your old messages and wonder how someone so soft became so distant. Let them sit in silence and realize the peace you brought can't be bought or found again. You were never ordinary. You were never replaceable. You were just too available. But those days are gone. Now you're not easy to reach. And that's by design. Because anything easy to access is easy to take for granted. And you're not an option anymore. You're a consequence. This is the era of your silence, your building, your discipline. And soon, it'll be the era of your arrival. The very tables they thought you'd never sit at, you'll be building them. The very rooms they excluded you from, you'll own the keys. And the best part? You won't need to announce it. Because God doesn't make noise when He moves. He just makes impact. And when He's done rebuilding you, the impact will be so loud it'll haunt every person who thought you were finished. Not because you screamed, not because you fought, but because you endured. And endurance, that's a language only the chosen understand. They won't admit it, but they feel it. Your absence, your energy, your silence. It echoes in the rooms they once laughed in. It follows them in conversations they now find empty. Because when you left, something didn't just walk out the door. Something collapsed. They just didn't realize it in the moment, because they were too busy trying to replace the irreplaceable. Too busy trying to distract themselves with copies of you, thinking they could find your depth in someone shallow. But now they're drowning in that shallowness, smiling on the outside, hollow on the inside. And they don't even know how to fix it, because what they lost wasn't a someone. What they lost was a home. You were the place they came to feel safe, seen, and loved without judgment. You were the anchor when their life was falling apart, and they used your strength like it was infinite. They fed off your loyalty like it was owed to them. And when they were full, they left like you were disposable. But now they're starving. Because you can't replace presence with performance. You can't replace authenticity with aesthetics. You can't copy and paste real energy. They might find people who are easier, but never someone who gave like you did, who stayed like you did, who believed like you did. That's why God removed you, not to destroy them, but to show them what they took for granted. And you're not the same person anymore. You're not picking up where they left off. You're not hoping they change. You're not sitting by the phone waiting for an apology. That chapter is done. That story's burned. And from the ashes, something unrecognizable is rising. A version of you that doesn't flinch at red flags anymore. A version that doesn't pour into empty cups. A version that's so rooted in self-worth that begging isn't even in the vocabulary. You've seen what survival looks like. You've walked through fire without a scream. And now you understand that the most dangerous person in any room is the one who learned to suffer in silence and still rise with grace. Because it ain't about revenge anymore. It's about rebirth. They don't deserve your anger. That's too intimate. What they deserve is nothing. No reaction, no explanation. Just your growth. Just your distance. Just the sound of you becoming everything they said you couldn't. And that's the part that'll destroy them slowly. Not your presence, but your evolution. Because now you shine without needing to be seen. You win without needing applause. You love yourself so hard that even when you're alone, you feel complete. And nothing terrifies a manipulator more than someone who no longer seeks external validation. God saw everything they did behind your back. Every time they smiled in your face and stabbed you in silence. Every time they twisted the story to make you the villain while they played victim. He saw your heart when it was bleeding. He saw your prayers when your voice was shaking, and you think he's not going to answer that? You think he's going to let you walk through that storm and not reward your endurance? Patience doesn't go unnoticed in his kingdom. Tears don't go ignored. Silence doesn't mean forgotten. It means something greater is coming. He's preparing the kind of table that makes everyone who betrayed you question their entire existence. Like, you're not done. You're just starting. And this time, you're not walking in with wounds. You're walking in with wisdom. You're not walking in to prove them wrong. You're walking in to prove yourself right. Because deep down, you always knew you were built for more. You just kept shrinking to be digestible for people with no appetite for greatness. You kept lowering your volume for people who didn't deserve to hear your thoughts. But now you speak with purpose. Now, your presence is a privilege. And now, your silence is a warning. This rebuild ain't about being liked. It's about being free. Free from manipulation. Free from fake love. Free from the cycle of overgiving and being underloved. And that kind of freedom, it comes with scars. It comes with tears. It comes with losing people you thought would be forever. But it also comes with peace, with clarity, with alignment. And one day, they'll see it. Maybe on a screen. Maybe in a whisper from someone who heard about you. Maybe in a quiet moment when they finally sit alone and remember what real felt like. But they'll see it. And when they do, they'll realize they didn't just lose a person. They lost a lifetime. You know what the cruelest part is? They'll never tell anyone the truth. They'll never say, yeah, I lost someone solid because I was too blind to see their worth. They'll never admit they broke someone who would have carried the weight of their entire world without complaining. Instead, they'll twist the story, dress it up with lies, make it sound like you were the problem. Because that's easier than facing the truth. And the truth? It's brutal. The truth is they had someone real, and they fumbled it. They had someone loyal, someone present, someone who loved them with patience and intention, and they shattered it like it was nothing. Not because you weren't enough, but because they weren't ready. And instead of stepping up, they let you drown. That's what makes the rebuild so personal. Because now it's not just about healing. It's about remembering who the hell you are. They didn't destroy you. They revealed you. They pulled the curtain back and showed you who was pretending. And yeah, it hurt. You broke in places you didn't even know existed. You questioned your own value. You wondered if maybe you were the problem. Maybe you loved too hard, gave too much, stayed too long. But that wasn't weakness. That was loyalty. That was your strength in raw form. The kind of strength people exploit when they can't match it. You weren't the fool. You were the flame. And now that you're gone, everything's cold. Their world is colder without you. Their days are quieter. Their moments are missing that fire you used to bring. But that's not your problem anymore. That's the price of arrogance, the consequence of disrespecting what was sent to bless you. You see, the rebuild, it's happening whether they clap or not, whether they regret it or not, because this ain't about them anymore. This is about you stepping into everything they told you you couldn't be. This is about proving to yourself that every crack they left behind was just an opening for the light to get in. The light of truth, the light of awareness, the light of self-love that doesn't need permission anymore. You're walking into rooms now that your old self wouldn't even knock on. You're building a life where peace is the bare minimum, and you're learning slowly, painfully, but beautifully that some people aren't meant to walk with you into this next season. They were only here to betray you into your breakthrough. And the beauty of it all? God's timing is perfect. He didn't let you break down just anywhere. He let you break in a sacred space. A space where he could reach you. Where he could start chiseling away everything that wasn't real. Every illusion. Every mask you wore to keep the peace. Every part of you that begged to be loved instead of expecting to be respected. He stripped it all down, and it felt like death. But it wasn't. It was rebirth. Because real elevation only comes after demolition. You can't build a kingdom on a foundation of lies and half-love. You had to be broken so he could rebuild you right. And this time, you're unshakable. Not because you're perfect, but because you've suffered and still chose to rise. And now, your silence is sacred, not cold, not vengeful, sacred. It's your armor, your clarity. It's the space where God whispers, "Watch what I do next." Because he's not done with you. No, he's just begun. Every setback, a setup. Every betrayal, a blueprint. Every loss, a lesson. And soon, very soon, the same people who overlooked you will have no choice but to look up to you. They'll see the new you, the calm, powerful, silent storm you've become. And they'll remember the old days, the messages they ignored, the chances they wasted, the real one they lost. But by then, it'll be too late. Not out of punishment, out of process. Because once God rebuilds you, you don't go back. You don't go back. They don't realize yet, but the moment you stopped chasing, everything shifted. The game flipped. Because now, you're not looking for closure, not searching for answers, not replaying what you could have said or done. You're focused on healing, on becoming, on building the kind of life that doesn't require anyone's permission to feel full. You don't need their what if. You don't want their half love. You've outgrown the people who only reach out when it's convenient. The ones who only miss you when someone else disappoints them. You're done being the backup plan. You're done being the emotional punching bag. You're done being the one who always forgives first, just to keep the peace. Because now you see what they never thought you would, that you were the blessing all along, not them. You were the miracle, the consistency, the rare energy that only a fool would mishandle. And they fumbled, bad, let them sit in that loss. Let them tell themselves stories. Let them say, you changed. Because yes, you did. You had to. Pain changes people. Betrayal changes people. Silence, when it's loud enough, rewires your whole system. You start seeing through people. You start spotting red flags before the sentence is even finished. You start guarding your peace like it's gold, because now you know it is. You learn that you're not meant to be everywhere. You're not meant to be everything for everyone. And the moment you realize that, you get dangerous. Because you stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even give you a bandage. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop begging to be chosen. You start selecting quietly, coldly, with precision, and not out of bitterness, but out of respect for yourself. The rebuild is different now. You're not rebuilding to be liked. You're not rebuilding to be loved. You're rebuilding because you owe it to yourself to never be in that dark place again. That place where you sat with tears in your eyes, questioning your own value because someone else couldn't see it. That place where you convinced yourself to hold on while they were already letting go. That place where you blamed yourself for the storm they created. Never again. You don't just want peace now. You demand it. You don't just want love now. You discern it. And anyone who can't match that, they can leave. Or better yet, stay gone. It's funny, isn't it? The people who made you feel small are the same ones watching you grow now, with silence in their throat. The ones who left you behind are now behind you, watching from a distance, trying to piece together how you're still standing. And not just standing, thriving, smiling, glowing, moving, like they never existed. That's what hurts them, not your words, your evolution. Because deep down, they know they were part of your breaking, but not part of your rebuilding. And now they don't have access to the version of you they helped create. The stronger you, the wiser you, the you that walks in a room and doesn't seek attention, but demands respect without saying a word. And that's what God does. He doesn't just repair what was broken. He makes it untouchable. He turns wounds into wisdom. He turns delays into preparation. He turns rejection into redirection. And when the time is right, He lifts you. Not secretly, not quietly, but in front of the very crowd that called you a failure. Not to shame them, but to remind them who you were before the world tried to break you. To show them that He was with you the whole time. When they left, He stayed. When they laughed, He listened. When they lied, He planned. And now He's rebuilding you where they can see it. Not because you need their recognition, but because they need the reminder. You were never the weak one. You were the tested one. And now you're the chosen one. Walk like it. Move like it. Speak like it. And never ever apologize for outgrowing the people who had every chance and still blew it. There comes a point where you don't even want revenge anymore. You don't care about proving them wrong, making them watch, or rubbing your glow up in their faces. Not because you've gone soft, but because you've evolved past the noise. You're on a different frequency now. One they can't reach, can't decode, can't interfere with. And that's the real power. Not screaming your comeback, but living so loudly in your peace that it drowns out everything they ever said about you. You're not healing to show them what they lost. You're healing because you finally understood what you deserve. You're not climbing back up just to wave from the top. You're climbing because you realized no one's gonna save you but you and God. That's it. That's all you got. And that's all you need. Because when everyone turned their back on you, who stayed? When you were sitting in your own hell, who pulled you out? Nobody. Just you and God. When your chest was tight and your thoughts were louder than your prayers, He still heard you. When you said, I can't do this anymore, and kept going anyway, that wasn't weakness. That was your rebirth. And now you see it clear. The people who broke you were never meant to finish the story. They were just the intro, the messy, painful, chaotic first chapter. But the main character, that's you. And the plot twist, that's coming. Because no one expects the quiet ones to rise. No one expects the kind-hearted to stop giving. No one expects the one they walked over to become the one they'll never reach again. But that's where you are now, untouchable. Not because you built walls, but because you built standards. Not because you're heartless, but because you finally stopped letting pain rewrite your identity. They thought they were shaping your end, but God was preparing your beginning. And now every step forward is a reminder. You survived what was meant to destroy you. You're not scared of pain anymore. You've lived with it, slept beside it, held hands with betrayal, danced with disappointment, and still you chose to be better. That's power. That's discipline. That's the kind of quiet strength that makes the same people who hurt you feel small in their own success. Let them flex. Let them pretend they're winning. But deep down, they know you were the real thing. The peace in their storm. The honesty in their chaos. The love in their void. And when it gets quiet at night, when the fake laughs fade and the distractions stop working, that's when your silence starts screaming. That's when they realize they didn't lose someone who needed them. They lost someone who saw them, truly saw them, flaws and all, and loved them anyway. But they couldn't handle that. They weren't ready for love that didn't come with control, for truth that didn't bend to their ego, for presence that didn't need applause. But that's not your burden anymore. You gave your love in full. You stood 10 toes in storms they couldn't even understand. You stayed when everyone else bailed. You forgave things that would have broken most people. And they mistook your grace for weakness. But now you've changed. You're not bitter. You're just unavailable. Not out of hate, but out of healing. Because now you're not just rebuilding. You're protecting what's being rebuilt. You're protecting your time, your mind, your heart, your mission. And that means silence. That means cutting ties without explanations. That means outgrowing people who never thought you would. So keep rising, quietly, steadily, relentlessly. Let your success be their mirror. Let your peace be their punishment. Let your absence be the chapter they can't rewrite, no matter how loud they scream. Because you're not coming back. You're not looking back. And you're not slowing down. The version of you they thought they broke, gone, buried, never coming back. The version God is building now, unstoppable. You know what they really fear? Not that you'll come back angry, not that you'll explode or expose them. No, what truly haunts them is the idea that you've completely detached, that you no longer care, that your heart doesn't skip a beat when their name comes up, that their presence, their silence, their drama no longer affects your pulse. That's what kills them, your indifference. Because once they realize they no longer live rent-free in your mind, once they understand their power over you was an illusion built on your compassion, that's when it starts eating at them. Because deep down, they knew no one else would have endured what you did. No one else would have kept loving through that level of pain. No one else would have stayed that long, hoping they'd finally wake up. But you did, and they played with it. They thought you'd always be there, until you weren't. That's the mistake they never saw coming. They thought your love made you weak, that your silence meant permission, that your forgiveness meant you'd never walk away. But what they didn't realize is that love from someone real has a limit, a final line, a last page. And once you reach that page, it's done. Not with a bang, but with a door that closes so quietly it leaves them screaming into a void. That's the rebuild. Not rising with noise. Rising in such peace, it rattles every soul that once tried to drain you. Because when you finally give up on saving people who set fire to your spirit, you start saving yourself. And there's no coming back from that. Once you choose yourself for real, everything else becomes background noise. You stopped replying, not because you didn't have words, but because they didn't deserve them. You stopped explaining, not because they didn't need the truth, but because they already knew it and twisted it anyway. You stopped showing up, not because you changed overnight, but because you were changing for months, silently, painfully, praying for a sign. And all they kept showing you was that you were never a priority. They gave you crumbs and expected you to feast. And now they're starving. starving for the energy they took for granted, the love they laughed at, the loyalty they misused. But the store is closed, the access expired, and even if they come knocking with tears in their throat and apologies in their pocket, it's too late. Because this rebuild, it came with a new version of you, one that doesn't negotiate with chaos, one that doesn't try to fix what's meant to be left behind. And that's where the real power lives, not in getting even, but in getting elevated. You're no longer on the same floor as them, and they feel that. They feel it when their messages go unanswered, when their name doesn't echo in your presence, when they see you laughing again, focused again, alive again, without them. And what they feared the most becomes real. You're actually better without them, not pretending, not forcing it. Actually better. Your circle is smaller, your energy is guarded, your time is sacred, and your heart still beating, but no longer bleeding for the same people. This is what divine rebuilding looks like, not the fantasy healing they expected, not the overnight success they mocked, but the kind of growth that takes months of internal war, silent nights, and brutal honesty with yourself. The kind of growth that comes after you collapse so deep into your own pain that there's nowhere to go but up. And you did it. You dragged yourself out of hell. You sat in the ashes of what they left and built again, slowly, brick by brick, with shaky hands and a steady soul. And that's what they can't take from you. That's what makes your story untouchable, because no matter how they spin it, they know you didn't fold. You didn't lose yourself. You found yourself in the silence, in the absence, in the mess they left behind. You found pieces of you that were hidden under years of people-pleasing, overgiving, underliving. And now, every step you take is a funeral to your old self and a coronation for the new one. You're not walking back into their lives. You're walking into destiny, and they'll see it. Oh, they'll watch from the sidelines, with regret in their throat and your name in their head. But that's all they'll have. Memories, because you're not theirs to reach anymore.